Welcome to Little Bobbins Knits episode 2. Episode 2. That means I must have put out episode 1, which is very exciting. My name's Danny, and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Little Bobbins. Before we start, I just want to say the hugest thank you to everyone who has been so kind as to send me messages this week about episode 1. I appreciate it so much. The encouragement and the positivity has just been really, really touching. It's meant the world to me, so thank you. I can't even express how happy it made me. Thank you very much. I was thinking about starting a Ravelry group, and when I first started thinking of doing this podcast, I didn't think I would start a Ravelry group because I'm not very good at them. So I kind of feel like I'm intruding or butting into the conversation for some reason, probably just rampant insecurity, but just because of how lovely everyone's been and how nice it's been to chat to everyone this week, I thought I would start a Ravelry group because, after all, the community is what made me start this, wanting to be a more active part in it. So a Ravelry group might be quite fun. So hopefully when this podcast is up, I will have made one. So come and find it. I imagine I'll call it Little Bobbins Knits Podcast Group or something equally as inventive, but I'll put it in the show notes, which you can find at littlebobbins.co.uk. So I'd love it if you could come and join me there. It would be really lovely to have you. So this episode might be a bit shorter because I've had technical difficulties and had to film this 4 times, which is why you're looking at a different part of the house, and I'm looking into the tiny iPad camera lens, which is really distracting. I think when you sit in front of a camera, or I'm finding, if I can see myself or see a person, it feels natural to talk to that person, even if it is yourself, but then it will look really awkward for you. So I'm trying to look in the camera, but if I don't all the time, please forgive me. It's an odd feeling to be looking into that little lens. Anyway, so today I've got some whips, 1 FO and 1 new thing, but you'll see it in my whips because I've already cast on with it, so no separate part for them. So I will start with this one, which you didn't see last week. It's a sock. The colour might have been better when I started this at sort of midday, but it's now just gone 4, I think, so the sun's in a different place and I can't quite see the colour very well. It's sort of a magenta pink going into a purple. And this is from a sock blank. This is a sock blank that I got at Fibre East earlier this year. I think it's in July. And it's a fibre festival that is reasonably local. And it was really great this year because there were lots of dyers that I hadn't heard of or hadn't seen before, and this was one of them. This woman dyes for her Etsy shop, which is called Rosie's Moments. And I was quite intrigued by a sock blank because I wanted to see how this would sort of transfer into a knitted, like in the round, how this pattern on this flat piece of knitting would translate to being knit in the round at a different gauge, a different amount of stitches. I was just quite intrigued by that concept, but I knew I would probably have a problem with how wiggly the stitches were because I do like neat stitches. and it's a bit impossible to get neat stitches initially from squiggly yarn. I'm hoping they'll block out and it will look neater when they're blocked. But so I've started this one, and this is a finished one. I knit this sock from the toe, so toe up with fish lips kiss heel and a 3x1 rib, just because I couldn't face a 1x1 rib at that particular moment for some reason. But the way the sock blank was dyed, it was sort of a mirror of itself. So I knit this one toe up, and I'm knitting this one top down so that I hopefully get similar looking socks. I don't know if it will work, because I didn't measure to see if these like areas were the same size on each half of the sock blank, because I didn't intend to make them match or semi-match. We'll see how they actually turn out. I ripped out the middle, which had a sort of orangey colour in there too, so that I could sort of make them match, but we'll see how successful that is, because this doesn't look big enough to knit a sock. I'm not sure. I should have measured, but I'm not very good at planning. I sort of go ahead and work out in the end. So this is a BFL or Blueface Leicester and nylon blend, which I really like working with, and I'm enjoying it. It's nice to see how it goes from the flat to the round. I quite like these stripy bits. I think they're quite fun, and I love the sort of more delicately sort of blended bits where you can't really see in this light, but it's nice. There's little patches of the darker colour and the lighter colour which look nice. So yeah, that's my first project. These are being knit on my Knit Pro Carbons needles, which are okay. They've got a bit more drag than my higher sharps, which are my favourite ones, but they're fine to knit with. So yeah, that's whip one. My second whip is one that I showed you last week, and it's with this lovely sparkly yarn from Sarah's Texture Crafts, and they've grown somewhat. I think I was up here last week, so I've turned the heel. And these are the Hermione's Everyday Socks by Erica Luda, and her heel is a modified Eye of Partridge where you have a garter stitch border down each side, but I didn't have the pattern with me when I was going to do the heel, and because I know this one off by heart, I just thought I'd substitute that in. It's not that different, but I love how the yarn has worked with the slip stitches. I just think it looks so pretty. So yeah, I'm still loving these socks. I've got the other ones at sort of the same sort of stage. I think I'm about an inch till I start the toe decreases. So hopefully by next week I'll have some more finished socks. My next FO I haven't worked on for a few days because it's been in timeout through no fault of its own. My Whispering Pines shawl by Homespun House. I'm knitting this one out of Old Maid Yarn in the greyish colourway, which is working up beautifully. On the screen I can see there are lots of sections of dark and light. You can't really see those as much in real life. It's a bit more uniform, but oh, I love this yarn. So my story of woe. I knit the entire textured body portion, and the whole time I was thinking, oh, when I get to the lace I'll put in a lifeline, because why wouldn't you? You might as well. It's a precaution against sudden head fog, or if the lace happened to be difficult, which it's not. But I got to the lace and didn't have a lifeline within reach, so didn't get up to get one, just went straight into the lace, and it was all going fine. It's a short repeat, easy to memorise and easy to read as well because the lace all lines up nicely. So I was just happily knitting away. I got to 3 repeats in with the lace, and all of a sudden I noticed something was awry. I don't even know what I'd done. I just clearly had a moment where I was knitting minus brain, and so I pulled the needle out, ready to just rip back, and all of a sudden there was a stitch explosion. Everything just hopped about. There was some sort of stitch dance party and it was disastrous. So I had to rip all the way back to the textured part, which isn't that bad because the lace is nice to knit, but after knitting I was on a bit of a roll with it, and knitting those 3 repeats and then having to knit them again didn't seem that inviting, so I just put it away for a few days. But now I've got it back out, I'm ready to knit some more on it, I think, because it is a nice lace pattern, nice and simple, as long as you have part of your brain engaged. And yeah, I'm looking forward to wearing this because it's going to be a nice one. So all is forgiven, even though it's my fault. My last work in progress is the one that involves a new yarny acquisition. And that's this gorgeous yarn from Eden Yarns, edenyarns.com, little label. And it's 100% superwash Polworth in ombre teal blue, and it's really lovely. I have a bit of an Eden Yarns problem in that I buy it and I hoard it because I don't want to use it because it's so nice. So I'm very proud of myself for casting this one on already. And this is going to be the Knit Your Love shawl for Mum for Christmas. And I'm really enjoying this pattern. It's really, there's only sort of this tiny bit that you have to concentrate on, and it's very simple and it's just fun. You just want to get to the next heart and the next heart. It's like lots of her patterns, they've got that compulsive element, haven't they, where you just want to get to the next bit. A bit like self-striping socks, you just want to get to the next stripe. So yeah, I'm enjoying knitting these little hearts, and I can't wait to see what they look like when they're all blocked and flat, because they're curly at the moment. I'm knitting this on my higher sharps, which I'm loving for this project because there are bits where you have to manipulate 3 stitches, and I did start this project on my Xiaogu interchangeables, but I found they were just slightly too blunt to comfortably manipulate those 3 stitches quickly and easily. So yeah, they're proving to be extremely good in this project. Just loving it. I can't wait to see the next sort of gradients coming through. Very exciting. So my finished object is just a little hat. I don't know if you can see the texture on it, but Mum and I make some things for a local charity, and Mum sews dresses and I knit hats, so this is one of the hats for them. And I love how it's come out actually. I'm using the reverse stocking stitch side as the right side because I thought it looked really nice. It showed off the bumps of this yarn a bit better than the other side, I thought. And this is Sirdar Snuggly Tiny Tots Fashion DK, which is just an acrylic polyester, I think. I could check, couldn't I? Acrylic and polyester, yeah. So, but it's made a really cute hat. I'm pleased with that one. So that's all of my whips and finished objects. I knit a couple of squares on my blanket, but it's over there, so I'll show you that next week. So yeah, sorry if it felt like I sped through this a little bit. I'm not entirely sure how much recording my iPad can take, so I thought I'd better keep it brief, and I really wanted to get something out so that I can hopefully get into the habit of a once a week podcast. And yeah, so thanks again for all of the really lovely encouraging messages that you've sent me this week. It really, really did make my week. It was so exciting to hear from people that I didn't know. It was, well, and people I did know. It's just really, yeah, it made my week. So thank you very much, and do come and join the Ravelry group if I've set it up, and if you want to. And I will look forward to seeing you next week. So have a lovely week. Bye.